Hi, everyone. We're back. I'm back with Gautam Khorana, who is going to talk to us a bit about his experience. He has founded multiple startups and all of them in a fairly high growth environment. And it's going to be really interesting to hear from him and his new agency, Seahawk Media. Gautam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for hosting me, Vakas. This is very interesting, I must say, and you guys have done a great job at organizing this. Love the brand, and I should tell everybody that I've had the pleasure of visiting Typeform offices last year in Barcelona. I hope everybody can travel again, and I hope to see you all in person also. So everybody, my name is Gautam. Hello, namaste from India, and hola. And I'm the co-founder and COO of Seahawk Media. I'm currently in New Delhi, but I'm a traveler. And in this pre-pandemic world, I used to be in US, India. Now I work across different time zones. A happy, compulsive workaholic, trying to make interesting things happen. Our company is into professional web services. My screen, I have something ready. Pardon the non-interesting PowerPoint. I didn't have too much time, but I definitely do something. And I should tell you that Seahawk Media is, in 2 words, we can define our company as marketing and WordPress, and we cater to customers all over the world. In fact, 60% of our customers, they are not in India. They're spread all over the world: US, Canada, UK, Austria, Spain, Germany, and they're of all shapes and sizes. We cater to customers from $1,000 to up to even $30,000 in range, and we do it at scale. That's our unique secret sauce, and I'm going to share with you how we are doing it, how we are accomplishing this, the problems which we are facing, a lot of problems which we're facing, and we're accomplishing them and solving them one by one, one by one. A little background on me is that I have been an entrepreneur all my life. I've been in part of the jewelry business with my mom and dad, and we've been only selling jewelry online for the past 14 years. In 2016, I founded my own agency, SiteCook, and in early 2019, GoDaddy, as everybody knows, GoDaddy, they posted a picture of me on Instagram. I think it was late Jan 2019, and Ryan Hussey, who's my co-founder now, he found me because of that Instagram post, and within 60 days of meeting each other online, we married our companies. At that time, I had my agency had about 8 to 10 people. Ryan had like 4 to 5 people, roughly 15 people. That was somewhere around March or April 2019. And now we are 80 plus spread across 3 different continents. And we're trying to make magic happen, We use Typeform for onboarding customers. We use Typeform for surveys. We love the tool, absolutely love the tool. And, I'm going to just tell you that, we cater to, again, like I mentioned, we cater to customers of all shapes and sizes, but we also power some hosting companies, and we offer white label services to hosting companies as well as agencies. That's what makes us unique, and why we are very different, and what our secret sauce is that we are primarily in the PSD to WordPress business. As some people know, I think everybody knows what PSD is, a Photoshop file, but we are very, very good at it. We have handpicked designers. They're mostly based out of Poland. Some of them are in Romania and Ukraine as well. We handpick them, we train them, we mentor them. And whenever we onboard a new web account or any new account of any size, anywhere in the world, we present to them a mock-up. Our Dribble page is one of the top Dribble pages in the world. If for those who don't know what Dribble is the world's largest design platform, and that's where we recruit designers. Very unique recruiting style. We give them a test for 2 or 3 mockups, and I'm proud to say that we have a fantastic and fabulous UI UX team. Whenever we sign up with somebody, we send them a questionnaire, which is on Typeform. It's 15 questions. People answer those questions, and based on those 15 questions, we're able to present a mock-up within 3 to 7 days. And from that paper napkin, the blank canvas, to the mock-up, which is essentially 7 days. After that, the WordPress website, it just takes about 2 to 4 weeks more, depending on the complexity. And we do this at scale. And we have very unique productized offerings. And the productized offerings are starting from $1,500 for the North America market. In India, we obviously have subsidized the prices considerably, but the offerings almost remains the same. And then we have these add-ons. The reason we are able to do this at scale is because we stick to our productized offerings. We use PandaDoc for contracts. We use SEMrush for SEO. We use Slack for internal comms. We use Monday for project management. I'm going to talk to you about that in a little while over here, that how we are doing this and how we are doing this at scale. But I should tell you that we face a lot of challenges. And I think the biggest challenge is hiring, HR. And when it comes to HR, it is basically, finding the right project managers, the right SEO experts, the right social media experts. Okay, so we find that talent in India. We luckily, I call it India power. We can find that talent in India. But how do you coach them? How do you mentor them? How do you train them to work with people in the Western world? That's something which, I think we have practiced and become very good at. And we are proud to say that we are expanding at a very, very good pace. And at this moment, at this point of time, we are actively servicing almost 100 plus customers in almost 25 countries. And that's because of our processes. I was having the Starbucks, today, my cup of Starbucks coffee. And I realized, Starbucks is one of the best and the largest coffee chains in the world, and they're able to do it at scale. Why can't somebody solve the problem of delivering beautiful, gorgeous websites at scale? Why doesn't everybody who has this vision, anybody who has this idea of a startup, some new e-commerce store or something, why can't anybody and everybody have a beautiful website? And we have somehow cracked this equation, and we have this formula of delivering beautiful, sexy, gorgeous websites, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 websites at 1/4 or 1/8 the price. And we have done it over and over again. We have had the pleasure of having GoDaddy as a customer. We have powered GoDaddy Academy in India. We've had the pleasure of working with the #1 cricketer in the world, Virat Kohli. We recently launched his website called the Virat Kohli Foundation. We are working with one of the largest and the best photographers in the world with millions of followers, and a lot of other companies. Our website has all of those case studies mentioned, and we add case studies almost on a weekly basis. Again, what makes our recruiting style very unique is something called as Seahawk Learn. This is the brainchild of my co-founder, Ryan. He's crazy, OCD, perfectionist. And I think that's what makes us unique. He has his skill sets, I have my skill sets, and we manage a bunch of people. But the Seahawk Learn is essentially a program is for everybody. It's going to be used as a part of our academy for training. It's going to be, delivered to colleges and institutions as a part. It's going to be like a recruiting tool, because there are a lot of colleges who are looking to, get companies to come to them and recruit in India. India has one of the best talents in the world, and Seahawk Learn is a part of our recruiting style as well as a part of our marketing style. We get a lot of customers and inbound leads on our website because of Seahawk Learn, our social media, our SEO, and we are actually using our own services for our own site as well. That's why we only work with WordPress. The reason we only work with WordPress is because how many technologies can you work with? Yes, you can. A lot of agencies do that, but we like to call ourselves as a professional web services marketing company. And I believe, and what we have learned over time, that we cannot scale if we don't practice and preach maybe like one or two things at the most, And we believe with WordPress, the WordPress is not going to go anywhere for the next 10 to 20 years. I think almost everybody here can agree with that. It's only going to grow. Maybe 50 or 60% of the internet is going to be dominated by WordPress in the next 5 to 6 years, maybe even sooner. So that's what we do. All of our developers, they're hired considering their WordPress experiences. All of our SEO experts, they are basically, they know how to implement, Google meta tag titles, meta tag descriptions. For those who don't know what these terms are, is basically getting your website ranked on Google page 1 using certain ways, certain implementation styles, and you can do that. And we know how to do this at scale. And how we do that is because of our nest structure. This is something again very unique to Seahawk, because we are Seahawks. We don't call our teams, we call them nests. So we have something called as a web nest, a SEO nest, a social media nest, and a WordPress nest. Every nest is about 4 to 6 individuals, and every nest can service 15 to 25 accounts depending upon a certain capacity. So for example, our web nest will include a WordPress pro, a guy who can do full stack development, integrate PayPal, payment gateways, etc. It will include a UI designer who will create the markup, a sub-page developer who will implement about us page or the contact page or the blog page, etc., and a couple of other people. And that nest can take care of 15 to 25 projects depending upon the capacity or the level. Like I mentioned earlier, we have productized web offerings, productized WordPress offerings. So depending upon what kind of orders we have for that nest, they can take care of 15 to 25 projects. And again, we can do this anywhere in the world. We use Monday for project management. This is a screenshot of how our Monday work OS looks like. As you can see, we have, like I mentioned over here, we are working on active 100+ projects at any given point of time in 25 countries. And all of our servicing is done in India. I'm proud to say that. And our team in India, they're hardworking. They work till about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, sometimes even later than that Eastern time. So if somebody is working from India and they're active till about 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, we obviously have multiple time shifts, etc. So we are very flexible with our style of working, but that roughly covers all of the world in some way. And I can proudly say that we have one of the best talent when it comes to servicing, design, and implementation of SEO, social media, branding, logo. And again, we can do this at scale, and we are doing this at scale. What makes us again very unique? First of all, we have moved our company indefinitely to work from home. We used to be at WeWork offices, but in India and the US, but then we decided to move permanently work from home. It's actually worked to our advantage because we are getting talent from all over India. I used to recruit people only from Delhi NCR because I wanted most of them to come to the office. But then I realized, I'm missing out on a lot of talent. And now we are actually hiring people from all over India. We were already hiring people, UI designers in Poland, Romania, Ukraine. I said, why not? We can do it all over India. India's diverse, This is our SaaS stack, as you can see. We use Monday as a work OS. We use Slack for internal comms. Desk time, this is very interesting. This was a big challenge which we were facing, accountability and responsibility when you're scaling your business, and it's very human-centric because we are not a SaaS company. There's so many challenges, and number one was accountability and responsibility, and desk time actually solved that. We can actually record what our employees are doing. They're given a time slot. Within those 8 or 9 hours, they're supposed to give us productive 7 to 8 hours. And as long as they're giving, we're happy with that. We, in fact, launched an award in our company called the Seahawk Award, and we're giving cash incentive to employees who are my colleagues who are doing really, really well, who are over and over again. We use Sendable for social media scheduling. We use HubSpot as a CRM. We use Managed WordPress to manage our hundreds and hundreds of WordPress customers globally and manage and maintain their websites. So this is how we manage our business. And it is pretty cool, by the way, to have the Typeform expert status. I've been associated. Let me talk about Typeform. So when it comes to Typeform, I think I've been working with Typeform for roughly over a year. The partner program at Typeform was just starting out, and I believe Carolina, she reached out to me about, I think, roughly over a year ago, and somehow, I ended up visiting the Barcelona office, meeting several of the members at Typeform. It was a very interesting experience. And I can't wait to go back again, of course. And that was pretty cool. And within a year, we started evangelizing Typeform, and we absolutely we love the tool. We use the tool. We recommend the tool. We implement the tool because we anyways use WordPress. And all of our contact forms now for our customers, almost 95%, if I would say all, 95% are powered by Typeform. We use it for surveys, questionnaires. Our customers absolutely love Typeform, and all we did was just started, introducing Typeform to our existing set of customers, and we never forced them into going for paid versions or etc. But we realized that at least 1 or 2 out of 5 of our customers, they were very interested in professional implementation services or growing, having surveys and other stuff on their own websites, etc. Like we had, they were very impressed by the way we used to onboard them. And long story short, within a year, we are proud to be Type. This is something which is very cool. This is something which is not even revealed to my team in India. Just like Typeform was born out of an agency, there's something called a style page. This is going to be launched in early 2021. We hope to launch it no later than March 2021. It's our own SaaS offering. It's Ryan and mine's idea to have all of our customers on something called as a style page. What we realized, there was a big problem when we were scaling our business, that every business, every company, whenever they wanted to launch their product offering, or whenever they had their website, the colors were misaligned, the fonts were misaligned, and we said, okay, no worries, we'll just make a style guide for you, and it will be like roughly 5 to 7 pages, and there'll be some fonts, and we standardize the colors. But then there was PDF, there were PowerPoint presentation, Word documents, uploading, dragging and dropping stuff on Google Drives. It was a complete mess. And then we thought, why not just make our own SaaS tool? And we were inspired by the likes of Typeform, and we are very close. The beta launch is going to be next month, is going to be introduced to very few people, few agencies for testing purposes. And then the public launch is going to be there. I'm very excited for style page. The logo, the colors, again, my co-founder Ryan, I gave it all to him. He's crazy OCD perfectionist when it comes to choosing the colors. I totally trust him. I'm more of the sales guy, the marketing guy. We have our roles defined in our company, and we are very, very, very excited about launching Style Page. And that's Ryan and me. I think Ryan has been to India several times. I've been to the US several times. 2 days before the international lockdown, in fact, we were in London at a rooftop having whiskey sours. And I thought, like, this all will die down. We'll see you in a couple of months or so. It's been like several months working across different time zones. Again, a huge challenge. That's actually a very, very difficult thing, because sometimes you need to be very enthusiastic when working with people, especially in the West Coast, and we are in India. It's almost a 12 to 13-hour difference. So you really need to push yourself hard. That's one challenge, but that's one challenge we are trying to accomplish. But hopefully, when the travels start back again, you can revive and you can start working again. So that's what we are doing at Seahawk, how we are scaling our company. I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody would have, let me know.
Thanks, Gautam.